What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to add a crucial part to our kayak build, and that's this, the Torqeedo Ultralight 1103 AC. Let's get into it. I'm excited for this one. For those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that this is the motor that I ran last year. It's my first year running motors last year, and this thing has changed the way I fish. Obviously, with kayak fishing tournaments, time is your biggest enemy, and this has allowed me to get a lot more places, a lot more quicker, and just fish more efficiently, and that is definitely important when it comes to kayak fishing tournaments. Now, a little disclaimer, I am on Team Torqeedo, but I do want to mention that even before getting added to the team, I paid for my original motor last year out of my own pocket. I did a lot of research. I had no strings attached. I tried to figure out which was the best motor for me. And ultimately, it came down to this. I had the option to run the other brands, you know, whether it's a different transom mount or the bow mount like an XI3. And I chose this because of the reliability, the features that's on it, and of course the speed. That being said, today we're gonna mount our motor, install our foot control steering kit so that we can fish hands-free, and we're gonna change up a couple rigging things that I did last year that I felt like could be cleaner. So with that being said, let's get into it. Just a little walk through some of the parts. Torqeedo has their own battery. It's their own proprietary battery, which has some features that makes it really unique to this motor. Got a bunch of other stuff in here, some of the parts, accessories, all that stuff that will come with the motor. Got a couple other accessories here. We got some Hobie parts that I'll be adding to rig the motor. ACCESSORY Torqeedo throttle mount so that we can mount our throttle. Innovative Sportsman steering kit. So we have all the cording, the spectra cording, and the tubing, all that. The foot control steering, I'm using the ones that I used last year. I'm actually gonna be switching these little foot pegs later. There's a new version that came out. I'll switch that later. To mount the motor on the kayak, we have to use a mount. And this is the one objective mount. This is the one I used last year. Still in good working condition. No need to buy a different one. I've enjoyed this one. I do have a little Yak Attack track here that I put my flag on, actually, my Yak Attack Visit Carbon Pro. So that's already all built out. We're gonna keep using this one. If you've been following along for the build, you know that this is stage 1 of my kayak. I need to get this thing ready for an upcoming trade show, and after that, I'm gonna add some other parts to it. There's some stuff that I'm still waiting on, and there'll be some things changed as well. If you want to learn a little bit more about the current state of the build, I have a whole build series, a whole playlist that you can check out. I'll leave a link in the description below. For the sake of time, I'm not going to record every single step, but I will walk you guys through some of the things that I'm doing to get this all put together. All right, guys, well, we got the 1103 installed. So I'm gonna play around with height adjustment. That's the nice thing about this. There's a little clamp here, and you can adjust depending on the height. I usually like it a little bit higher. Obviously, kayaks, we can go in shallow water. If I don't have to tilt it up, even better. So I gotta play around with that later, but overall, everything is installed. Now that that's done, we can move to the next step, and that's running our foot control steering. We gotta drill 4 small holes, 2 on the back, 2 in the middle, so that we on the tubing for foot control steering. Last year was my first year doing it, so hopefully we learned some things along the way. And yeah, let's jump right into it. All right, we got our holes drilled as symmetrical as I could get it. Next up, we got to run our tubing. from the back to the front on both sides, and we're going to use some of this fencing wire. This helps run that tubing because this stuff is all coiled up. It's pretty flimsy. Just helps push it straight along the side, and then it actually helps with lining up with these holes as well. This part is definitely a little bit tedious, takes a little bit of time. It's a lot easier with 2 people, but we'll get it done. Well, it took a little bit of time, but we got the tubing all done. So that's the end of one. There's one right there. This is the back right side, and right there is the back left side. Now everything from here should be pretty easy. We got to run our Spectra cording through those tubes, connect it to our motor, and then to our foot control steering. We're almost at the finish line. Now the next step should be a lot easier, and that's just running the Spectra cording through those tubes from up front to the motor in the back, and then connect it obviously to the foot control steering. But the nice thing is we're right there at the finish line. We're almost done, and then we don't have to do this anymore. We got it done. Check it out. Well, now that this is done, we can finally work on our pulley system and get it so that we can obviously lift this motor up whenever we need to. So let's grab a couple parts. We're gonna get this installed. We're probably gonna start with our lift assist first. And one thing that I did is utilize the Yak Attack dual H rail mount. And these eyelets, usually they come with a little bit longer screw. It might be hard to see, but I trimmed down the bottom of it so that's a little bit shorter, and I can mount this both on the H rail. And I think I'm gonna mount it upside down like this so I can run the wiring underneath the H rail. I had it on the outside before, and I've always hit like trees and stuff with the eyelet sticking on the outside of the kayak. So we're gonna try this out, see if it works. Hopefully it does. If not, we always can switch back to the old setup. Alright guys, it's actually the next day. It took a little bit of time to figure out how I wanted to run my lift assist and my lines for my reverse. Just didn't want to rub into anything, and I was trying to think ahead because I'm actually going to be running a 16x16 black pack later this year. So I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to become a problem down the road. Let me walk you guys through what I did. So back here, obviously we have our lift assist with a pulley up top. It just helps lift it up and down, just less resistance. Got it all running right here. Got it to miss my bungees. I still haven't put my Omni hooks on here yet, so obviously when I put that, this will lower a little bit. Got it running under these ones, and it's going to a Yak Attack Duo H-rail mount. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the eyelet, the Yak Attack eyelet underneath, so, and that's just help guiding the wire. Cut that a little bit shorter so it clears the bottom of the kayak right there. And then we have this going on the inside. This jig plate from Catch actually has a hole there so that I can put that pulley system there, and I just have it spaced out with some nylon spacer. Runs up obviously to where it locks right here. I actually left a little bit extra length just in case I want to redo this later. We'll see how it goes, but overall it's been working super well. And I replaced normal handles with a Hobie one because it's a little bit softer, doesn't make as much noise if it bounce around like the plastic ones. And then of course with the Hobie H-rail mounting plate right there that holds it. This is actually my old one. It's starting to wear out after a season, like you can see right there. So I'm probably gonna replace that later after the show, but for now it'll do. Now for the reverse locking mechanism, I got that running through the bracket. I'll probably tuck it underneath this after I redo the lines and put my Omni hooks on. It's running through that little eyelet right there, and actually just goes straight to the provided cleat. It's called a cleat. I couldn't think of it, but yeah, I have that bolted down to the mounting plate and stainless steel hardware, of course. And I got my old handle that actually I had on the other side from my last kayak, just a Hobie one. I got that mounted there. I like that compared to these little knobs that's provided from Torqeedo. Now, no one really uses them. Everybody usually upgrades, but yeah. So that way I can actually lock and secure down my locking mechanism. If I'm fishing somewhere and there's wind to my back, I can lock my motor so it doesn't trim up. And yeah, it makes it nice. I didn't do this last year and I definitely missed out on doing that. So I made sure that was a priority. Pretty much the last step is to get our throttle installed. And then after that, we can connect everything together and make sure everything works right. So I already actually went ahead and installed another Yak Attack dual mount. This one back here that I use for my pulley system is a little too far back. I like to have it just right behind my steering handle. All right, that Mighty Mount base is in. Simple as just clicking it in. Boom. Like I said, I like to have it a little bit behind the seat so that I don't hit it with my elbow or my fishing pole. I have done that a little too many times and I started adjusting it a little bit differently. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll tilt it out just like that so that it's a little easier to use. But yeah, right there. I've actually thought about mounting it just a little bit lower. I've seen some people do it with just that plate underneath, but I haven't seen a way that I can easily remove it. And I don't want to leave this on the kayak at all times. But yeah, this is the way I've done it. It works. I'm happy with it. One thing that I'll actually do is zip tie this wire to the base so that it doesn't get caught up on anything. But I got that running, obviously loose for now. To my battery. This is my backup battery from last year. I didn't unbox a new one yet, but this is how I have it. I have it strapped with cam straps to some Yak Attack tie downs to the black pack. This is actually the best way I've found because I don't like my black pack being too close to the back of the seat. Sometimes if I set the hook and I miss, well, sometimes I hit my rod that's like right here and it gets annoying. So this actually pushes it back a little bit, which is really nice. We got power. Oh, it feels good to see this again. Hey, battery's still at 100%. I haven't charged this in a while. Perfect. Let's get the kill switch in and make sure that the propeller spins. All right, let's find out. Oh, we got power. Oh yeah. Money. Foot control steering. Good. Oh crap, we're about to come up on a rock pile. Can't slow down, gotta trim up. Yeah, everything works. All right guys, that's gonna be a wrap for this one. We got our Torqeedo 1103 installed. Everything looks good. We got a couple little things that we need to add to the kayak before this thing gets displayed at the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show. So in the next video, I'm gonna share with you guys some of my experience from that show, some of the cool things that's gonna happen there. I have a really cool opportunity to go on live TV with a local news station. So I'm excited for it. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.